I have never done four-wheel drive front anything other than like an all-wheel drive, like a Subaru. And that's basically just like a front-wheel drive car, but with a locking hub. Never have I. Oh, I think that's twisting. Yep, it sure did. That one's coming up. I got new calipers. These aren't being reused. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. Do I just pry this out here? Apparently I do. Okay.
And the internet was not lying about this ring right here. It's just so hard to see it. It's tucked inside of a groove inside of there, and it moves so easily when you try to get behind it with the pick. It just keeps sliding around in circles, so you've got to hold it. I was using this screwdriver right here, kind of put it in there and turned it so the ring couldn't get past the screwdriver, and then went in there with the pick and got behind the ring. All right, what else awaits us? Another ring in there. That's just a half moon. My new lockouts have not arrived yet, so I don't know what comes with them and what doesn't. So I'm gonna keep all this together. Trying to line up this. It looks like a thrust washer. And I have to line it up with the splines. Get it off there straight. There it comes. All right. Doesn't look like there's a front or a back to it. I don't see any dots or anything on it. So it looks like that can go either way. Looks like another thrust washer back here. That one is not splined. It's just round. Oh, there's two of them here. Three of them. The thicker one was up front, or this is actually a couple of them and they're stuck together, which is what it kind of looks like when I bend it. So the thinner one in the back, thicker one in the front. The thinner one is also smaller in diameter. That's a hub. There's a spring around there, almost like a like you'd see on a dust seal. maybe that's just holding these pieces together here. That's plastic there. All right, well hopefully that comes with the new lockouts. Kind of looks rough. Okay, now what do we got? That was probably the weirdest one yet. The top is that 90 right there. That is up top. Spinning, spinning. Is it unthreading or is it just spinning? Yeah, I think it is actually unthreading. That's the spindle nut. That is the weirdest spindle nut. But yeah, that's gotta be. Yeah, sure is. So that must be the spindle that I'm looking at, not the splined axle. That's not what I'm talking about. It has these teeth on the inside. I thought they were roller bearings when I was first looking in there, but it's not. This is what I was looking at. It's actually the spindle nut, but I thought that was a bearing looking at it. It's the threads. But maybe when I switch from automatic hubs to locking hubs, manual, maybe this changes. When I ordered the hubs today, locking hubs, I had to buy, there was a warning that came up and said must, for conversion from automatic to manual, must replace spindle nut or spindle something, spindle kit. They were $28 a piece, so $56 extra for the two. Okay, now I'm gonna get a handful of wheel bearing here. So this seal rides on this lip. Well, maybe that really does stay on there. Yep, there's no way for that to press, so that goes on there like that. I'm guessing that that's what that clip sits in. Almost looks like a keyway. I bet that's what keeps the spindle nut from turning, is this sits in here like, yep. That sits in there perfect. Then that portion goes into the nut, and the nut must have a provision inside of there, and it doesn't. Oh, well, it's all those provisions right there. It can lock in any one of those lines. Right, built into the threads. That's what keeps the spindle nut from being able to spin off. Yep. Nice. All right, Dana. All right. Okay, so how do you get one of these off? I think I've got maybe half of it freed up. The top, I'm able to push the top away, but the bottom still seems to be stuck. So I can't be that far off. I'm hoping this penetrant starts running back behind that plate and starts getting into areas that I couldn't get before, because the top was stuck also. What route do I want to go with this? Yeah, still too stuck for a screwdriver. I'm gonna try this smaller chisel. Maybe I can creep in here. You'll love it. I don't know how hard it would be to bend this. That is not what I want to do. I saw these spindles, they're like $250. All right, here we go. Here we go. Yes. Yes. That's what's left of the dust cover. I don't want to rip that boot. All right. I don't know if the new axle will come with that boot. Oh, well, it just stayed in there. This is a 31 spline. Look at this U-joint. I don't think there's any needle bearings left in there. Okay, and there's a seal on the end of this. But imagine that ring is probably supposed to be attached. Yeah. Yeah, that was on there just like that. And this is supposed to be attached like that. So this cup portion is on there like that. Okay. There's the boot. Okay, I'm gonna measure this, and I think I still have time to go in and order it today. So this one right here is from the end of the spline to the center of the U-joint is 24 3/4 inches. And I need to add 1 7/8 inches to that. So if it was 2 inches, it would be 26 3/4. So it's going to be 26 5/8. No, yeah. 26 5/8. 26 5/8. All right, I'm going to go in and order it. All right, I'm working on this nut right here, this lower ball joint nut. That nut right there. It is, what size do I have on it? It's 1 1/8. It might actually be metric. I ought to check and see if I have a 6-point metric that fits on there, but it is tight. So I'm heating it up.
All right, let's give that a try. Oh, got it. Got it. Yes.
It wasn't. I've already got the upper ball joint loose. I'd loosened that when it was still out of the van. What is the deal with this freaking socket? Is it? Can't ever get these sockets out of this. Probably not meant to remain on this display case or whatever. Jeez, it's entirely too much work. I'm gonna leave that upper nut on just in case so it doesn't all fall out on me. I hope I didn't mess nothing up. Oh, I didn't even notice. Why didn't you tell me that? Freaking ball joint's still in there. No. No. So now I'm going to remove the upper and lower ball joints. And I believe I have to do the lower first. The lower's got a snap ring on it. And I'm just going to see if it's already loose. Looks like it's loose enough. Alright, there goes that side. This is my ball joint kit. It's just an Amazon, probably like Orion or something like that. And I can see when I was doing the U-joints last night for the passenger side, I'm starting to tear that up. You're not supposed to use an impact on these, but I've tried it without an impact, and it's about impossible. You really need the hammering effect. Maybe spray this just a little bit. Get my tools even dirtier than they already are. both sides when I used the pickle fork ball joint separator. It actually pulled the ball out of the socket on both sides. So that's why both lowers are missing the ball, the top of the ball joint. Okay, what do I want to use on this? That is perfect. There's the lower. I believe I can use the same one on the upper because it's got that hole. Yep. Kind of a funky angle, but never stopped us from making children, right? So. Oh, that's right. This has to go through the lower. Easy peasy. That's the upper. So I'm going to put the upper and lower in. These ball joints actually say made in the USA. All 4 ball joints. The bottom I can pretty much use anything. I'm going to use this. By the way, this tool is so much easier to use if you have a helper. Setting it up is the hardest part. Trying to keep these aligned. I believe it fully seated. Looks like the ring is notch is exposed to get the clip on. The reason it looks like there's more, this got me on the other one when I did the other side. See how it looks like this? There's way too much clip showing right here. It's because the clip is actually shaped like that. It's real fat over here and skinny over here. So that is fully seated. Push the upper one in. By the way, this is the upper is a Moog K80026 upper. The lower is a K8195T. Goes in there like that. And what did I use for this one? What we got right here? Check this bad boy out right here. Boom. All right, we're golden. Maybe not. I used the wrong one. I was probably supposed to, with this particular one, I was probably supposed to use this one. Make sure, yep. I kind of made a note before I removed the old one, that that ball joint ends up even right here on the inside. Actually, sets in just a little bit farther, but I gotta make sure I remember to put those grease zerts in. And I'm gonna put rust converter on this, tape up the ball joints, clean it with brake cleaner, acetone, and then put rust converter on it. All right, next up is the spindle. It's got a seal in the back that is supposed to be one piece, but it breaks out of that ridge right there, I believe. And I ordered, I thought I ordered these, but then when I did the other side, when I did the passenger side, I realized that I got the wrong size, so these are on their way. But I can still replace that bearing in there. Come on now. I'm pretty sure, just the way that it's designed, I think that's supposed to be pressed in there. It'll kind of snap in, but since I mangled it up on the one side, I won't be able to get it to go. But now that's the needle bearing, the spindle needle bearing inside there. And I made a tool. I don't know why originally I thought that was just going to come out of there. So I had like a slide hammer set up and with a little hook on it, and I was trying to pull that out of there and it just wasn't going. So I made this. This is a tire tool for an old Econoline I used to have, one of my work vans, and I ended up junking it, so I held on to some things. So anyways, I put that shape on the end, a little foot on the end right there, and then I ground away right here so I can get in there, because what I'm trying to do is get inside this little lip behind the bearing right there. that was my finger. Yep, didn't get into it at all. All right. Okay, so now I gotta clean this all up. Okay, got that cleaned up. That is a Timken SBK4. And I have no clue, to be honest. I did not remove anything like this from the front end. I'm not real sure what's going on with that. I don't know if that's like a retro or a revision or something. It came with that, and that just happens to be the exact size, the exact outside diameter of that right there, that hub area on the spindle. So I think that that probably goes on there, and then maybe the rubber, I don't know, because this goes on the end of the axle. And I did worry about, and then this one also. I just don't know where they go. Maybe that's why that seal that I pulled out of there, maybe that's why that seal didn't come with this kit. Is because this is the new version, maybe. Because that is the same diameter where that bearing goes in. So maybe that's supposed to sit outside the bearing, just on the lip of the bearing, and that's about how much the bearing sits in there also. So it might be like a revision, but I don't know what would hold that. Well, the axle would be tight against that, so it wouldn't be able to come out. Anyways, I've got the proper ones, the original ones, on the way. But sometime here in the next couple weeks, I hope to figure out what this is. I'm going to get on some forums, some Ford truck forums, see if anybody, I'm sure somebody has ordered these spindle bearings before and wondered what these parts were. But for now, before I paint this, I'm going to put that new needle bearing in. Yep, this is just a little bit smaller than the outside diameter. There it goes. There it's seated. Just want to make sure all the needles roll. Now I'm going to do the other side. Rust-Oleum Rust Reformer instantly converts rust to a protected paintable. So I gotta get this U-joint out of here. I gotta start by locating the clips and removing them. This is a messy job. Okay, I can see one over here. I like to just start digging away at it, removing some rust, removing grime, and then the clip just kind of starts to show itself. But in the state that it's in right now, I'm not even sure if I see one of them yet. I haven't definitively found one of them. Ah, I think I got one. Yeah, that's definitely the clip right there. See if I can knock that out of there. It just flew across the garage. Okay, got one. Let's work on this one right here. Yep, okay, I got that one started. See how it just starts to peek out? You can see it sitting right here. So that's what we're looking for, 4 of those. I see this one. Okay, there's 3. I mean, getting them out of there is pretty tough, but I would say locating them is probably the hardest part. Being able to separate them, see it separate from the cap to know what you're aiming for. And I have located the enemy right here. Got it. And there's number 4. Let's press them out of here. Now, this tool, the end of this is just barely big enough to allow a cap to come through that end. So, really have to line it up with the cap. I'll just start sending it back in. There it goes. Cap was still on the end. This is the driver's side axle, by the way. Okay. Those U-joints were trashed. try that. There it went, popped. And I wish this would just come out of here like this, but it will not. You gotta send it through the other side. Gotta do the work. Okay, driver's side axle shafts, drive shafts. Thought I was recording, but I wasn't, so I already got this yoke done. I mean, rust reformed. Got the hub here. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna get this bearing out of here, get this seal out of here. I'm gonna clean up the inside of the hub. I think these wheel bearings were probably fine. The race looks fine, but I'm replacing them. Do I want to knock those races out of there? I think my punch has seen better days. Looks like I got one side of it, but the other side hasn't budged. Come on now. Almost. All right. Oh. Yeah. I should be using the vise. I'm doing this for you, you know. Stupid race. Oh, got into it right there. That's the only spot, though. I'll file that out a little bit. This one should go easier. Okay, second verse, same as the first. Clean this, convert the rust, prime it, paint it. Got it cleaned up pretty good. Still, there's actually really not any rust left on it. Got it cleaned down to the bone, but still using the old rust reformer. All right, I got the driver's side hub all rust. What is it? Reformed. Now I'm priming it. All right, I got the rust converter on. I'm not going to do the back side of this spindle because it's probably pretty important that, I rust converted it, but it's probably pretty important that this surface not be all built up with paint. I'm using this self-etching primer. Final heavy duty. All right, I'm gonna tear into it. Okay, got everything, got the rust converter on, and got it all primed last night. Getting ready to paint it, everything but this. I'm gonna tackle this after I get the engine in and get the front end done. Maybe after I get the front end done, but before the engine, I don't know. But started to get into it a little bit and decided that I could work around it. I can tape some stuff off and put a bag over the rotor and stuff to get all that. And then there's the back side of that there. But I did get up in here real good. Got all that sanded, stripped down to bare metal. I'm getting ready to paint here. Got the black done. Got some runs, but this is all going to be covered. You won't see any of this. Even when you open the hood, you really can't see any of it. Doghouse is another story. I just needed to get anything painted where I can get the front end, get the engine in, and I'm not covering anything up that I need to get to later. So for example, over here, I still need to fix all this over here, so I just made sure that I did a good job in the shock tower. All right, one thing crossed off. Press the pivot bushing. By the way, I had these drilled out to 5/8. I think they were at like a metric size or something, but I want to use the original 73 pivot bolts from the van in the F-150 bushing. So I had these, I started to drill them out myself. I didn't like the way it was wallering it out. It wasn't perfectly round, so I took them to a machine shop. The pivot bushings themselves cost me like $30. Having them drilled out cost $34. Like I said, I really wanted to use those bolts. These press in fairly easy, but the pain in the butt is holding all this together while you're pressing it. So this is probably going to take about 6 to 12 times here. These are just different parts that are in my ball joint press kit, and this one right here fits perfectly on the outside. It stays off of the rubber, it doesn't touch the rubber of the bushing, and it's the exact size of the outside diameter of that. So far I only have the rust converter on here. I want to do the bushing now, so if I gouge it all up pressing it, I'm not gouging up the fresh paint. Definitely recommend a friend for this, but I don't have any friends. Although they press fairly easy, still gotta send it in straight. Finger hit the reverse button. You kidding me? So this is the bottom underneath. I am a little worried. I had to build this up right here. This is beefy underneath here. And that driver's side axle, the pig sits right here, the pumpkin, the differential, whatever, here, but then that arm comes up and there's actually a yoke right here that spins, and I'm a little worried about these two bolts right here. Man, I hope if there's interference there, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let's just put it that way, because it is welded. I mean, I'm pretty sure I got this mounted just like it was before, but before it just I just barely had it bolted in there, just enough to do a mock-up. Saying rust converter, but it's rust reformer. I just wonder. I'm putting the crossmember in, or the engine cradle, and then I'm going to put the crossmember in. That don't look right either. Yeah, it's almost got to be this way. Okay. Member's back in. It's back, baby. Got it all tight. So there's basically, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5. There are 26 bolts that hold the crossmember in under the van. So this thing should be solid like a beast. For sure. What we have here is all the parts that I'm getting ready to install over the next few hours. All painted, ready to go. I don't have the races in the hub yet. I still have to do the U-joints on the, this is the new passenger side shaft. It's actually made in Idaho by Dutchmen, and it's heavier. It's only 1 7/8 inches longer than the factory shaft, but I'm guessing it's either a denser steel or bigger around because it's significantly heavier than the other one. So I'm gonna do these U-joints, the driver and passenger, get those knocked out, get those out of the way, and then I'm gonna do the radius arms and the bag, and just kind of start reversing all the steps to get this thing put back together. This is everything for the driver's side. All right, let's get these U-joints in. A little grease in there. Might even be able to do this by hand. Yep. That's probably not a good sign. Looks like it might go. It's in there. Man, I just don't like. The whole way to do these is to press it a little too far one way, put the clip in, then press it back, and then this side, you know, say we're doing it that way, you put this clip in, then you push it back this way until this clip bottoms out, and then in theory you're supposed to have enough room to get that clip in over here. But if you go over just a little bit too far, then it tightens that up and it traps both of those caps in a little farther than what they're supposed to be. And then there's no way, I mean, I guess I could remove this clip, push it back that way to push this cap out farther, but you're just playing cat and mouse. Then you're chasing it both ways. So what I did was I just kept doing that back and forth until the U-joint got looser. I mean, it's still not, I can move it with my finger and thumb. I mean, you don't want it sloppy, obviously. Might be able to get a clip on that one side there. Yes, sir. Almost. pretty much equal both ways. That was easy. I don't think I got enough in there, but really? it. I have a lot farther to go. I have a lot farther to go. That was just the beginning. Man, seems like it's going pretty hard. It's going evenly. It's not seated though. There. Seated. This wasn't even listed on most, like if I went to AutoZone or Advanced Auto, nobody showed this actual seal here. This is plastic or nylon or something. Oh, I want to get that seal out of there. And that's what I pulled out of it, was this type. Right here is the old one. You can see that the plastic had broke off away from the metal when I was trying to get it out of there. And I actually snapped it back in because I was carrying it around with me in my work van and stopping at parts stores whenever I came across one. It says Foshida. TRS 007. And the same exact numbers on that one. Probably no Harmon. Yeah. What is that right there? Oh, it's just glistening. That spindle's done. That's the passenger spindle. This is the passenger hub. So everything's ready for the passenger side. I don't know if I can get this under here without using the jack. It would be awesome if I can. It's probably going to want to keep falling over on me though. About there. Yeah, what can go wrong there? Yeah, I probably ain't got a shot. World trying to do this. Hopefully this is the last time I ever have to do this. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Where's the ball? No, I'm not doing it. Okay. It's winning. Too far. Okay. Almost. Not good. I should have brought the punch down with me so I could line it up. I missed some paint right there. That's gotta go. That's it right there. Yeah. All right. I suppose I could probably do the radius arms now. See the way these bushings set in here, I don't think they can, but I don't know. So I'm worried that as I stop and take off and this wants to move back and forth, I'm worried it might start squishing these bushings out on these sleeves because there's nothing to hold them in. So I cut these pieces of 1-inch pecs and I'm gonna slide those on there like that. And really the only purpose they're serving is just holding that bushing in. If the bushing wants to come out and is stronger than what this PEX is, it'll start smashing this and I'll notice that when I do inspections. So that's what that's for. Put this one over here, this one over here. Only goes one way. I got the shock installed. Now I'm going to put the radius arms in. This one goes up top. These are longer. I'm gonna have to readjust these anyways. Like right now, they're not turned. They're kind of cocked like that. So I'll straighten those out after I do the final adjustment on the caster. That wasn't my brightest move. Let's see if I can send that up. New priming and painting them is probably going to make these tighter inside of here. And of course I just, scratched all the paint down to, looks like I still got primer under there, so. At least I still got primer. For some reason I have an extra lock washer. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tighten all those. Everything's permanent at this point, as long as everything goes back together all right. This is the last time on everything. Oh, I did not want to do that. Nah. Now airbag, or upper. Mount the airbag up to the van and let it just hang there. This has to go a certain way. And I built it, so you would think I would know. Oh yeah, the air hole. That's where the air hose goes through the side and connects to the top of the bag. So that's got to face backwards. Yeah, like this. So that means that air fitting goes like this. That. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this with gloves on. Okay, I got that one started. I think it's easier to start the first one because you can kind of move the bracket around to make it line up. But once I get this one in here, I go to put the other one in, there's only going to be one. It's got to be exact, otherwise the threads will not line up. I don't know if you can really see anything in there at all. I'm using grade 8 on this too. Pretty much every single nut and bolt I've replaced on the entire van, I'm using grade 8. Oh, I think I got lucky the very first time. I can just barely get a wrench on there. I thought I was gonna have to use a crow's foot, but that hasn't been the case. That's tight. I don't want to get it so tight to where I'm worried about pulling the threads right out of the top of the bag. It is a composite bag, or the plates on top and bottom are composite plastic. But they're just like pressed in. It's like a threaded sleeve that's pressed in, or probably not pressed in, it's probably molded in along with the plastic when they make the plate. These are, if I haven't already said it before, these are called Slam Specialties, or maybe just Slam, but they are made in the USA. And these are the 6-inch bags, SS6. Yeah, that's basically bottoming out. Okay. Now let's get that swivel lined up. I'm gonna cut a section of line. There it went. Man, I'm glad I kept turning that. Okay, that's in. I got plenty of room around it. It's not rubbing. I'm gonna send this airline through. I've got a hole up here inside the spring tower. Sometimes things just end up working out perfect. I'm not gonna complain. One bit. Nice. I've got this ropey rubber flooring that I'm using. That's where the that mount that I was just mounting the bag to goes up there and just provides some rubber in between the, or vinyl. No, I think it is rubber. And so the two steels aren't rubbing against each other. Now I need to, oh, I'm gonna have to fight that shock now. Oh, that's hard on the knee. It's time to mount the top of that bag, and that's what that looks like up here. That sits in there like that, and I can move it slightly. Well, why can't I move it slightly? Oh, maybe the airline's holding me up. Yeah, that's more like it there. And then this drops inside of there. And then those holes on the top of that bag mount line up with the cup there. These bolts draw it up to the body. Yep, and it's sitting on that rubber all the way around. I mean, there's more showing over here, but there's no place where the metal is actually touching metal. It's on the rubber. That's all I really wanted, so. There, now it's bottomed out. Shock and upper bag are done. This is the driver's side. The camera cut off last night when I was doing the upper and lower ball joint, or putting the steering knuckle on the passenger side, so this is probably gonna be the only thing I film on the driver's side, just because of the tight space over here. So I'm just kind of mirroring everything I do on the passenger side. I'm coming over here and doing off camera on the driver's side. This lower ball joint nut is no fun because it's a locking nut. So I think that's what that signifies, those lines there. See, there's nothing on the bottom. This goes towards the ball joint, and then this is the locking side. So once it hits that, it is really hard to turn it, and then the ball joint just wants to spin constantly. They give you a slot in there. I think you're supposed to use that to hold the ball joint so it stops spinning and then tighten the nut, but that don't work so well. I ended up using the impact before. I'll probably end up doing the same thing. I'll just kind of start the castle nut on there. I'll see. The ball joint might just be spinning right now, but I'm going to give it a few turns and see if that's the case. Yeah, mostly. This is where the jack comes in handy. I'm gonna find something to put around the grease zert. Wonder if I have a piece of wood with like a hole in it or something. It's a bit extreme, but it has a hole in it. That'll work. There, that pushed it right up. It's still not going to get past that locking portion though. Well, maybe. Okay, now it's spinning. I'm gonna finish it off with the impact. I should be able to jolt it fast enough where the ball joint doesn't have time to spin fast enough. Yep, there it went. I think you're supposed to torque this lower ball joint to 120 pounds. I got good movement here still, nice and easy. Easy peasy. I'm happy. Again, not gonna mess with this yet. I've got this marked. You see my paint marker there. So I've got a straight line from here and here. Put a straight edge on there, and then I found the center that is the exact center of that U-joint cap, so I can phase the two U-joints together. I'm not going to put the boot on yet. Because it doesn't go through the beam very well. So I'm going to crawl under there. Put that boot on. It goes on like this. Hopefully that doesn't scrape my paint marker right off of there. Probably could have used a little lube on the boot itself. Okay, I still got the mark there. So I need to be in line with this cap here and my line right there. Is this boot going to cause problems? Yeah, it is. I think I've got to extend my mark out onto the spline itself. Right in between these two splines right here. Now I can slide this boot a little bit farther. And hopefully it stops hitting stuff. Okay. I gotta go one over. one more tooth. Come on, man. There it goes. It is, it's right there. I'd say that's dead on. So if I go out there right now, that cap should be facing straight down. Probably even, no, I can't. I was gonna say I could put my angle finder on it and then check the cap on the other side, but so the whole U-joint's inside the knuckle. I don't think I'd be able to get to it in any way. No, not really. I could get to the side. Maybe check the side. Let's see how it looks out there. Let's see how it looks to the eyeballs. Yeah, that's dead on. Okay, let's monkey with this boot here. I don't have any of these they're not snap ring pliers, hog nose pliers, I guess you're supposed to use on these. But that did just as good. All right, hopefully I don't have to remove those again, because I've already reused them once. I really doubt that I'm gonna be able to bend that tab back again and make it work again. So it's kind of a one-time deal. It's definitely on there. Hopefully I got it in a good spot. Jeff's Bronco Graveyard. He's like the only one that had this. I don't like this seal. It goes on the axle. This portion here presses on the axle shaft. This portion here just rides on the back of the spindle. Now, I'm no mechanic, but how can you just have this piece of rubber spinning against this piece of steel at 80 miles an hour and not rub it raw and turn it into a melted piece of nothing. I don't know if something about that cup, maybe it catches air or something and it spreads or pushes itself away. I don't freaking know, but I know that this one is protecting the needle bearing inside the spindle, keeping the grease in, so that's cool. This is different than what I pulled off of it. Okay. Yep, I'm going the full 60. Thought it looked like that one wasn't seated. $60 foot-pounds on those. I was gonna replace these with longer studs, and so I can put wheel extensions on, or put extenders on to get put the wheels out another 3/4 of an inch. And then I actually ordered some like Morosos, and the knurl, that's what makes this so special. This wheel stud is, this knurl is really long. And see how the knurl doesn't start until after it's away from the end there? That's important. It has to be that way. And to get these in 3-inch studs is $200 for 10 of them. So I cleaned these up, put rust reformer on them, and I'm rocking these. And if the wheels need pushed out a bunch, then I'll deal with that later. But as for right now, these are getting put back in. I cleaned them up on the wire wheel. And so I got a newfound respect for these studs, factory studs. Instead of just strictly using the impact and washers, I'm going to just start these and tap them. Like so. And that way they don't keep falling out. I don't have to keep flipping this thing over. The first one on's got to be a larger one so the knurl can come through. See if I can maybe not dig up the hub. And it's still probably going to leave rings where those spacers are. Jeez, it still didn't go. Oh, roll shaky. There, it tightened up. Yep, they're all seated. All right, spindle, axle, seal, dust shield. Huh. The wheel seal, oh, maybe the wheel seal does just stay on the spindle. No, there's no way. I think it just seized on the spindle and it came out of the rotor. No, there's a seal on there. Weird. So this seal rides on this lip. Well, maybe that really does stay on there. Yep, there's no way for that to press, so that goes on there like that.
What are these?
So I'll find out where those go. Dust shield, spindle, got the seal, the boot, dust boot on the back. Rotor, hub. Still with me? Yeah, you are. Time to wrestle this inner bearing here. If it's anything like the other side. There. That was easier. Outer bearing. That's the one with the lock tab on it. And this starts at 50, which is right there. Seat the bearings. Then we loosen. Then we tighten to 40 foot-pounds, which is right there. Now we loosen 90 degrees. Right there. Now we locate the lock tab, the lock pin. So I've got the first spindle nut on there, and I'm getting ready to torque that. I should have read these before I started the camera. This is a Dana 44. Install the inner lockout nut with the pin and torque the nut to 50 pounds while rotating the hub. Back off lock nut, then tighten to 30-40 foot-pounds while rotating the hub. Back off lock nut 90 degrees. This is the socket. Now, this is what I was saying. I've heard horror stories about this. I've read about it online. And they say that this really doesn't engage enough to be torquing, because that final torque spec on the lock nut is 160 to 205 foot-pounds. And everybody says that you can't get near that. These start to distort, and you start ruining the lock ring in there. I guess it gets to a certain point where this starts to be damaged because you're making it so tight. So I'm going to try grease and try my luck at it, I guess. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get it on tape. It's over here. There, okay, maybe. There it is. There, now it's sitting in there. Can you see that? Right there. That's 150. Don't you slip on there. Okay, there's 150. All right. 152, 170. I'm sticking with that. That's where we're staying, right there. What did it say? 150 to 200, 160 to 205. All right, what's next? Yep. Done. Now the big lock ring, which is a pain to get out, but looks like it's going to be easy to get in. Boom. Nice. All right. Stuff is going right. Can you believe it? I can't. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Man, there's some long threads. Wish I had my drill in here right now. Then I would spend 10 minutes looking for the right Allen head to fit on my drill. And then I would have had it done. So I guess I'm doing it the right way. It says not to put any grease in the lockout. So obviously I've got grease in the bearings, grease on the spindle. There's grease inside the spindle where the axle goes through, but no grease in the lockout. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, it's not locked right now. It is now. The axle's not rubbing on anything. Nice and smooth. It looks like the yokes are in phase. So all right, it's done. Oh, I see the other one turned too. Okay, brakes. What's this? 9/16, that's wrong. Oh, this was metric. 12. What I do with the banjo bolts right there. New brake lines right here. There, everywhere. Now 9/16. I gotta plug this one. You cannot get this brake line without it being a double like that, because the way they did it, there was only one front line coming out of the proportioning valve, and then you run the other side, the passenger side, out of here over to the other side. The proportioning valve I'm using has two outlets for the front, so I've got to plug this. Should be able to go just like that, or even like this. And there was a bolt there before, and the same thing on the other side that held the brake line, the steel line. So I can make a little bracket that comes out right here that accepts this. Yep, that'd be nice, so nice. This side is officially done. 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 I mean, kinda. It will run.